Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a cash envelope stuffing for the paycheck that I received on June 22nd, 2023 using the printable version of the Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Okay, so we are all zoomed in for this cash envelope stuffing. If you watched my budget with me for this paycheck, you'll know that it was a bit of a disaster and I didn't have my cash envelope breakdown written in. I did do that before I got paid, thankfully. And so I am all set and ready for this cash envelope stuffing. As usual, I am super zoomed in so you can see this sheet clearly, which means that you can't really see my hundreds up top and my fives and singles down below, but they are there. As usual, we are going to start with talking about my emergency fund. So I do have an established emergency fund at my bank. It is a separate checking account that I have, but as a means of continuing to grow that emergency fund without having to budget for it, I put any unused cash from my variable expense cash envelopes into this envelope at the end of every pay period. And once I get to $1,000, I deposit it into that emergency fund checking account. With this past pay period, I was actually able to save $102 for my emergency fund. So we should have $368 in this envelope, which we're going to count up together right now. 1, 2, 253, 320, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 368. So we do have our full 368 in here, which is great. This is definitely growing pretty quickly with the contributions for the last couple pay periods. Next, we're going to be stuffing my variable expense cash envelopes, which I have listed up top here. I do have a fourth variable expense, which is my groceries, but I don't have it listed here because I don't stuff an envelope for it. I do purchase my groceries online, so I pay for them online, and therefore I just have a separate checking account that I call my variable expense checking account. I put the money for my groceries into there every pay period, and then I use that to pay for my groceries. I did print out some new envelopes for myself for this current pay period. These are the mountain envelopes that are listed in my Etsy shop. I always have a link down to my Etsy shop in my description box below. There's tons of different cash envelopes as well as different trackers and savings challenges, dashboards for your planners, but I really loved this design and these colors, so I wanted to bring them out. Our first envelope that we're going to be contributing to is our eating out envelope, and that's going to be getting $100 in a single $100 bill. I did put in my deposits on the back here. Next, we have my gas envelope, which is going to be getting $75 in a $50 bill, a $20 bill, and a $5 bill. So let's count that up, make sure that's $75, 50, 70, 75. And again, I did write in my deposit on the back here and the fact that we're going to be coming back to this envelope for one of my savings challenges. Next, we have my miscellaneous envelope, and this is going to be getting $175, and we're doing that in a $100 bill, a $50 bill, a $20, and a $5, and these denominations were key because I'm going to be pulling out cash from here later as well. So let's count this up: 100, 150, 170, 175. And again, the tracker on the back is updated. Oh, except I didn't put the total there. Whoops. Now we're going to be moving on to my sinking funds. I only have a couple sinking funds I'm contributing to right now before I start my 2024 sinking funds. The first of which is going to be my travel sinking fund. This is a rolling sinking fund for me. That means that it does not have a monetary goal. I basically contribute to this every single pay period no matter what. That way, whenever I decide to plan a trip, I have some money already saved for it. That's why the tracker on the front here doesn't have denominations listed. It has months. This is going to be my last deposit for June, so I did fill in the June box here. And recently I've been putting $450 per pay period into here just because I have the money to do so, because I already reached goal on all the rest of my 2023 sinking funds. So I need $400 bills and a $50 bill. Let's count that up just to make sure we have the proper amount. 1, 2, 3, 400, 450. And then if we turn and look at the tracker in the back, with this 450, we should have $2,190 in this envelope. So I'm going to add all those bills in, whoops, and we're going to add it up, or count it up, I should say. So $2,190 is what we're looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2,000, 2050, 2100, 2150, 2170, 2180, 2190. Perfect. I did pull a bunch of cash out of here in May for some trips that I had and have coming up, so it's really nice to see this growing so quickly again. Next, we have my giving sinking fund, which is another rolling sinking fund. That's why we have months listed on the front. I did recently pull from this as well, but for this pay period, we're going to be putting in a $50 bill. And let me actually, I'm going to pull a nicer 50. So with this deposit, we should have $350 in here because, again, I did pull some cash out recently, so let's count it up. 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. Perfect. And then my last sinking fund we're going to contribute to is my car maintenance sinking fund. This had already reached its goal of $1,000. Generally, I would want this to be more of a rolling sinking fund as well, but I did purchase a car last year. It actually, my car turned a year old on June 22nd. And so because I have a new vehicle, I don't feel like I need a ton of cash into my car maintenance sinking fund right now. But anytime I spend from this envelope, I want to put that money back in so that it always has $1,000 in it. And then my thought process is when my car is about 4-ish years old, to start this as a rolling sinking fund again, because at 4, I'm probably going to start needing to think about tires and a new battery and things like that. So with this pay period, we're actually putting in $79 because I did spend from this envelope in like May and June, I think. So we're doing that in a $50 bill. Oops, let's say 50, 20, it's the last 20 and the last 5, and then 4 singles, which I think is the only singles that I have, but let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, it is. Okay, so let's count this up, make sure it's $79. 50, 70, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. And so with this deposit, we're going to be back to $1,000, and there is cash in here already from the deposit I made last pay period. I'm not going to count this up because it's not going to come to any like meaningful total here, because the majority of the cash from this envelope is in a checking account at my bank. Once I kind of reach goal on these envelopes, I usually save them in a checking account, or actually a savings account. That way they can make a little bit of interest. So this money, now that I'm back to $1,000, is going to go back into that savings account. And then the cash that we have left over is for my rent for July. That should be $600. So let's count that up. 1, 2, 3, 354, 455, 550, 600. Perfect. I don't have an envelope for that, so I'm just going to put that aside. And then we need to contribute to a couple of different savings challenges. So let me zoom out a little bit because I do want to share my monthly view again. If you watched my budget with me, the monthly view was not updated because I hadn't saved for the 10th and the 17th for my savings challenge. I did do that before I got paid on the 22nd. I can actually also pull this out of here because, oh, and my car payment, because I did pay both of those things. Now, I do have to contribute to my 52-week challenge, so I am going to mark off this 28 here. The 27 comes into play in July, but I actually haven't done my July monthly spread yet, so I do need to do that. So that's the only savings challenge we need to pull for right now is my 52-week challenge. And so here's my 52-week challenge tracker. And we are at the end of this first column, which is exciting because we're right around halfway through the year. So I'm going to check off the 2 weeks that I'm contributing for, weeks 25 and 26, which is $28 and $27. I'm currently doing the 52-week challenge in reverse. I'm enjoying doing it in reverse. This tracker, as well as my 52-week challenge envelope, which I will show you right now. These are both available on my Etsy shop. They are available separately. That way you can purchase one and not the other if you don't need both. But we're going to be contributing to my 52-week challenge using my miscellaneous envelope. So here's my miscellaneous envelope. I'm taking $55 out. 55, and so 120 is what's left. And I can actually update that total. Perfect. So this $55 is going to go in this envelope, and I did update the envelope down here, so we have officially hit the $1,000 mark, which is super exciting. We should have $1,027 in this envelope. So I'm going to add in these bills, and then we'll add it all up. 1,027 is what we're looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 657, 758, 859, 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 1,000, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 10, 27. Really, really pumped to have hit that $1,000 mark. That's super exciting. As of right now, I don't know exactly what I want this to go towards this year. Last year, my 52-week challenge money ended up just going into my house savings. I have a sneaky suspicion that will happen again this year. That being said, I'm hoping to have bought a house by the time the end of the year rolls around, and if that's the case, then this will go into like my house emergency fund, because I do want to have a separate house emergency fund from like my regular emergency fund. So that's kind of my thought process as of right now. And then I do also want to contribute to my $5 challenge. So this year for my $5 challenge, I'm trying to make it a little bit more interactive by using this envelope here. So throughout the month, as I gather $5 bills, I am putting them into this envelope. That way, when I do my monthly budget recaps, I can take the cash out of the envelope and put it into my acrylic container that I've been using for the last few years to collect $5 bills. So I had 1 $5 that I pulled out of my gas envelope, and I am going to stick that right in here. And when I do the June budget monthly budget recap, you'll see me stuff that envelope. Or I'm sorry, that acrylic jar. And that is going to be it for this cash envelope stuffing. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments about the way that I budget or how I use the Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom, please don't hesitate to put them down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.